Okay, here we are at Hillsdale High School. Yeah, okay. I'm going to take you on a little tour first. There's the football field where I'm pointing. Yeah, there. Football stadium where I graduated. I don't know what the heck is up over there. Maybe it's a soccer field now, but I don't think there used to be one when I was here. Who played soccer then? Tennis courts. I don't remember this park being here either, but I know the tennis courts were there. There's there's my high school, old as dirt. Yeah, same. Looks exactly the same as when I went here. I swear there were more windows when I was a kid, though. I don't know. That's it, right there. This week, I want to talk about something bigger than the number on the scale. Because GLP-1 medications like Mounjaro, Zepbound, Wegovy, Ozempic are not just changing people's bodies, they're changing grocery carts, they're changing drive-through habits. I know I don't go to the drive-through as much as I used to, once in a while. They're changing clothing sizes, restaurant orders, snack aisles, protein products, and even the way the stores are trying to sell to us. And personally, I get it. Today is Sunday, May 17th, 2026. I'm Shelly. This is Down in the Dale, my little Mounjaro journey. I started back in August of 2025 on 2.5 milligrams of Mounjaro because I'm a type 2 diabetic. And if you've been watching, you know at that time my A1C was 7.3, and as of last week, my A1C was 5.5, which is fantastic. All my numbers are really good except my triglycerides. They're just a little high, so we're working on that. I'm going to see a dietitian in a couple of weeks, and I'm really excited about that. Give it a go for about 6 months, and then we'll see. As you can see, we're outside today. Behind me is my old high school. I'll put a little B-roll of the high school. Graduated in 1984, so long ago, long ago. That means I'm 60 years old. My class is getting together this year in August for our 60th birthdays. I honestly can't remember if I'm going to be here at that time. I have to remember and figure out when it is. So, like I said, I started on 2.5 milligrams of Mounjaro. I'm currently on 7.5. I'll be taking my third 7.5 shot this week. It's going really good. I've lost about 40 pounds so far. Uh, this week I gained a little bit, but that's because of what I was eating. And while that number matters, what I'm noticing more and more are that the changes are just not happening on the scale. They're happening everywhere. In my routines, how I think about food, they're happening in how much I eat, what I think sounds good, what I think doesn't sound good, and how I move through a grocery store. That ties perfectly into the article that I read this week from USA Today about how GLP-1s are changing the way people shop for groceries, shop for clothes, shop for beauty products, shop for everything. Protein is in everything we see nowadays. The article talks about how GLP-1 users are moving away from the middle aisles of the grocery store. You know those aisles, the snack aisles, the chip aisles, the cookie aisles, all the good stuff that we loved as a kid. The sugary cereal aisles. What was your favorite sugary cereal as a kid? Were you allowed to eat sugar? I can't say this. Were you allowed to eat sugary cereal as a kid? Mine was always Frosted Flakes. I love Frosted Flakes. I also like Rice Chex, but that I would add sugar to because it didn't have sugar on it. The I only came in for eggs aisle and somehow walked out of the store with double stuffed Oreos. Yeah, I've done that. Instead, people are spending more time around the perimeter of the store where you have your dairy products, your fruits and vegetables, your meats, which are great sources of protein, eggs, cheese, yogurt, sour cream. Okay, some of those aren't that great for you, but they're good in moderation, right? Yeah. That makes sense to me. The article also says that some GLP-1 users are spending less money on groceries because they're eating less, which is so true. But that spending often shifts into other areas like more protein foods, supplements, healthier groceries, beauty products, and clothes because we need to buy new clothes because we're losing weight and the clothes aren't fitting anymore. So it's always not that money that disappears, it relocates like a squirrel with a credit card. One of the most powerful parts of the article was about food noise, that constant thinking about food. Where's my cookies? Where's the pizza? What's for breakfast? What can I eat? What do I want later? Should I stop somewhere? If you're driving and you stop somewhere, do you just stop because you see something that you want to eat? You're always bombarded as you're driving too with all the billboards of different things. At least here in my town, the food establishments, the fast food establishments are basically in the same area and like a half-mile area. So it's not as awful. You can dodge them if you want to, and I do at times. One woman in the article talked about how the food noise calmed down as she started a GLP-1. And I think that's one of the reasons these medications feel so different for people. It's not about willpower. It's not about just try harder. It's what your doctor always says, try harder, eat less, exercise more. We've all done that. It's the volume that gets turned down. And when the volume gets turned down, you can actually make choices without feeling that the food is running the meeting or your life. The article also talks about protein being a huge focus because it is. We need to eat more protein. That's what helps keeps us fuller longer, along with fiber, which is another good way to keep full longer, which means you need to eat more vegetables because I know I do. We're seeing that everywhere now. Protein shakes, protein bars, protein cereal, protein coffee. I make protein coffee in the morning because I use a protein shake as my creamer. It's really good too. I like it. I use one of those ultra filtered protein shakes in my coffee in the morning, which is really good. Get more protein, tastes good. There we go. I can even use a frother and it gets all nice and frothy. Makes me think I'm drinking a latte. And then I usually put toasted marshmallow sugar free syrup in my coffee too. Very good. Anyway, back to this protein coffee, protein pasta. I have tried protein pasta, and the one that I had, I didn't like so much. If you have a good protein pasta that you like, let me know. For now, I'm just sticking with regular old pasta. It's good. At this point, somebody really should be working on a protein air freshener. I'm sure there is. When people lose weight on GLP-1s, they need to be more mindful about muscle loss. So that's why protein becomes more important. Not just eating less, but eating smarter. I did not eat smart this week, and it showed on the scale. I gained 2 pounds this week, but that's okay. It's my second week on 7.5. I had days this week where I had to stop eating after I was about halfway done with my plate, and I didn't serve myself a lot, but I just saved it and had it the next day for lunch at work. Another part that stood out to me was how dining out changes. I know there's this one restaurant that I go to now that I loved going to before anyway, and I still love going to it, but they have the best bread. And I can only eat one piece of that bread, otherwise, I will just be full through the rest of my meal. The article says that GLP-1 users are spending less at fast food restaurants or just eating less in general, which I know when I go to a fast food restaurant, I usually just get a hamburger, cheeseburger, but I don't get fries anymore because I just am not hungry for them after I eat my burger. And that's a big shift because for a lot of us, eating out was not just about hunger, it was habit, convenience, comfort, celebration, boredom, Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. Now, with less appetite and less food noise, those automatic stops may not feel so automatic anymore. I know I am going less. The article also says that people are spending more on clothes as they lose weight. I know I need to buy some new jeans or a belt because I've had times where I walk around and I just have to hike them up. And this is just such a real part of the journey. Some things are too big, some things suddenly fit, some things fit weird. Some things you bought for later suddenly come out of retirement and actually fit. And buying clothes during weight loss can be tricky because you don't always want to invest a lot of money into something that's not going to fit for a while. It's like buying little kids' clothes, they just grow so fast. Thrift store. And all this talk about shopping reminds me about a lot of shopping in Los Angeles. I had a cousin come visit me once, and we had to go to Dash. If you don't know what Dash is, that's the store the Kardashians owned in Calabasas. She wanted to go in and get her girls something from the store so, they could have something that was bought at the Kardashian store. There wasn't a Kardashian in sight when we were there, though. But, I would go to grocery stores and I would see celebrities. Can't think of a single one at the moment. Well, one time I was in Rite Aid and Andrea from Beverly Hills 90210 was there, and it was in Rite Aid in North Hollywood, in like a really weird area of North Hollywood I would never imagine her to be in. Maybe she had a nice home in the valley. I do not know. Uh, what else? So, like, I grew up in an area in Michigan, very small town, as you can tell, and our main grocery store was Kroger's. And so in California, there's a brand called Ralph's, which is owned by the Kroger company. You know how we have digital savings now with grocery stores or anywhere else, really. So you look on the app and you can find coupons for things in the store. Well, Ralph's and Kroger's have different ads each week, and I can still use the Ralph rewards. Well, not rewards. I can still use the Ralph discounts at Kroger's because my number is attached to it. It's really weird. I don't know how that works, but I'll take it. It's parking, people watching, decoding whether that person wearing the big hat and sunglasses is someone famous or just walking around in confidence, trying not to trip in the dark sunglasses. Anyway, there's a grocery store in LA called Erewhon. Look it up if you've never heard of it. It's like Erewhon. It is so stupidly expensive. It's ridiculous, but I shopped there. It was great. That is Down in the Dale for this week. Like and subscribe. Leave me a comment. What's your favorite place to go shopping? Have you bought a lot of new clothes? What else? Nothing else. Everyone have a great week. I'm Shelly. You're watching Down in the Dale. Bye-bye.